Hey now! What's up, everybody? My name is Mike Brown, aka Review King MB, and this is a part of my 31 days of horror movie reviews. And boy, did I just watch a movie! I literally just got done watching Benny Loves You. This is technically a 2021 film, even though it was actually shot in 2014. This movie took over 5 years to get made and to come out. I'll get to why in a minute. But this was written, directed, and produced, and starring Carl Holt. And the plot. If you guys haven't seen a trailer for Benny Loves You, how can I explain this plot thoroughly? Carl Holt, he plays this guy Jack, who at the beginning he lives with his parents. He's 35. He's trying to get this promotion at his job, but his boss is a dick, and nothing really seems to be going well. He doesn't have friends, doesn't have anything. And then one day on his birthday, his parents accidentally get killed, or they just it's a horrible accident for how they die. And so he sort of reverts back to his childhood stuffed animal and takes comfort into that. Now, there is some weird entity, smoke monster. There's something out there. Doesn't really explain what it is, but there's something out there that brings toys to life and turns them into killer monsters. And that's what this smoke stuff does to his stuffed animal named Benny. And Benny, even though he's fun-loving, he sounds nice and sweet, and there's several moments in this movie where Benny seems like the nicest thing ever. Benny is a killer, a cold-blooded, vicious, brutal killer. I really enjoyed this film. I did. I know that it probably sounds bizarre. It probably sounds goofy. It probably even sounds dumb. And I know that if that's the case, some people won't enjoy this movie. They'll sit down and watch it and say, "What the fuck am I watching?" And I understand. I do. Maybe I'm just in the right mood. Maybe I just needed a movie like this in my life right about now. But this over the top silliness was my jam today. The very beginning of the movie, you see this little girl who is so annoying and such a brat. And her mother is struggling so hard to not just beat the hell out of this little girl. And you see what goes on with this smoke stuff that I'm talking about. Again, if you're looking for plot consistencies or an exact explanation, maybe it's better that they don't try to explain it, because then you can get into the really bad, silly territory, more so than it already is. But yes, the smoke stuff just shows up and it brings toys or stuffed animals to life, but it's not like Toy Story. These things will kill, and they don't hold back. Kids and people will get killed in brutal ways, and I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. I laughed several times. I cringed several times, but in the good way, right? Like situations where Jack, the main character, is having to deal with dead bodies continuing to pile up in his house, and he has to constantly clean everything up, clean the blood, and hide the bodies or bury the bodies because the local police are sort of on to him, even though those two guys are kind of dopey as well. But between all of that going on, and then even the moments with his boss, who his boss treats him like an asshole. He does. And then you have this other character named Richard, even though it's just spelled Richard. And he's competing with that guy for his job promotion. And then you have this one character, Don, who works at his job. And here's the part of the movie where it's like, alright, am I gonna be able to buy the fact that this guy, who admittedly doesn't have anything going on, doesn't really have anything to offer, seems really weird, but yet she shows interest in him and just kind of pursues him. Like, overly pursues him. Even when he tries to get rid of her because, well, Benny's around, and Benny doesn't really like when Jack talks to other people or hangs out with other people, right? So he's really doing this to try to save her. But she's still like, no, like, I want to kiss you, or I want to stay, or I want to do this and that. And it's like, all right. Yes, it'd be very nice for a nice, pretty woman just like this one to be this into you, and for you to not really try that hard to woo her. But yeah, you know, you kind of have to go along with that. It's Benny. Benny kind of steals the show. This stuffed animal running around with a knife is weirdly the cutest, but also creepiest thing you've ever seen. Between the voice, Benny loves you, play with me, cuddle with me, like all of these phrases that Benny says over and over again, even while he's wielding a knife, even while he's killing people. And the animation with how he bounces around and just runs around and jumps into Jack's arms, like, it's, I don't know what the budget is for this movie. I tried to look it up and I couldn't really tell. All that I saw is that this Carl Holt guy, who wrote, directed, starred in this, the reason why this took 5 years for him to finish is because he did everything himself. Not just what I already named, but pretty much all of these actors are like his friends or people that he knew. He guerrilla styled made this movie on probably whatever money he had. He did the animation himself. He did the editing himself. I would never, it doesn't, I'm not saying the movie feels like it has a huge budget, but I never would have guessed that it was that low of a budget. Do you know what I mean? Where it's just basically one guy doing everything. I am even more impressed looking back now, thinking of all of these scenes where the puppet, this stuffed animal, is doing as much as it's doing. The practical effects for the blood and gore, it just, this movie is a blast. It is. It's a blast. It's fun. If you're looking for a silly, over-the-top, admittedly gory film, if you're able to have fun with how over-the-top this is, I think this movie is right up your alley. I enjoyed Benny Loves You. So guys, let me know in the comments below if you too have seen Benny Loves You. What do you think of it? Or if you haven't, have you at least heard of it? Watch the trailer. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Later!
Swimming in beers, I've been through it all, let me trickle a tear. In case you didn't know, I was living sarcastic. A motherfucking monster, something Jurassic. Had to wrap the whole entire bed in plastic. Smoking bitch scared switch, fucking with raptors. Killing and a drilling and I'm sipping on the 4-0. Listen by a whole entire motherfucking torso. Oh, what a rush, sniffing some more blow. Let the bitch bleed and I'm making a porno. I'ma keep it going a few times before I pass out.